Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program Capital Beat. The campaign for judicial accountability on Tuesday expressed dismay at the Supreme Court's decision to elevate Patna High Court Chief Justice Vipul Pancholi to the apex court despite a dissent note by Justice BV Nagarathna. Justice Nagarathna is part of the five-member collegium headed by Chief Justice of India BR Gavai. Now, Campaign for Judicial Accountability has also expressed concern over the collegium's decision on August 19th to elevate 8 advocates to Bombay High Court, including a nephew of the CJI. Now, as per established practice, CJI should not have participated in the collegium meeting where his nephew's name was considered. This is what Campaign for Judicial Accountability has said in a statement. And what they also have said, and I'm going to read out what exactly they've said. They have said that with dismay, the recent collegium statement of 25th of August as uploaded on the Supreme Court website makes a mockery of the earlier resolutions with respect to standards of transparency in judicial appointments. As reported in the media, the collegium took 4-1 split decision with respect to the elevation of Chief Justice of Patna High Court, Justice Pancholi, as judge of the Supreme Court. Then they said that it is reported that Justice BV Nagarathna, as a member of the collegium, recorded a strong note of dissent against the appointment of Justice Pancholi to the Supreme Court, stating that his appointment would be counterproductive to the administration of justice and would erode the credibility of the collegium system. Now, what is worse is that Justice Nagarathna had first expressed reservations about the appointment of Justice Pancholi in May. She had even called for the minutes of the meetings related to Justice Pancholi's transfer from Gujarat to Patna High Court in 2023, which at that time did not seem routine. And this is what CJAR has also said. So the big question now is that what has swayed the Supreme Court collegium in recommending Justice Pancholi to the Supreme Court? And also, Justice BV Nagarathna's dissent note has not been uploaded on the website, despite her telling this very, very clearly to the collegium. She has requested this. So we'll try and discuss all of this. Joining me this afternoon is a very special guest, former Supreme Court Judge, Justice Madan B. Lokur joins us this afternoon on the Federal. So thank you so much for joining. And so your first thoughts over what has really gone wrong with the collegium and the way the elevation of Justice Pancholi has come about.
Thank you, Neelu, for inviting me to this show. I'm not sure if anything has gone wrong with the collegium, as you put it. They have taken a decision, right? It's a 4-1 decision, which is permissible. So really, and the procedure has been followed in the sense that they had a meeting. That's what it appears. And in that meeting, perhaps views were exchanged, and one of the learned judges, Justice Nagarathna, did not agree with the views of the other 4 judges. So under the memorandum of procedure, if a 4-1 decision is taken, it can be acted upon, and this is what is happening. Apparently, this is what is happening.
No, but Justice Lokur, what is really being discussed everywhere is that Justice Pancholi is going to be the 3rd judge from Gujarat to be elevated from the Supreme Court. And he's also the 57th judge in the All India seniority list of High Court judges. So can you leave the other High Courts unrepresented? Can you bypass the seniority of the other judges? That is also something which is under question.
Yeah, you see, there are 2 things. One is, what is termed as regional representation. All right. So this is going to be the 3rd judge from Gujarat. Okay, Justice Pancholi will be the 3rd judge from Gujarat. But there have been instances in the past where you've had 4 judges from Bombay High Court. Perhaps on one occasion there may have been 5. I don't know. I'm not very sure, but certainly 4. There have been instances in the recent past where there have been 4 judges from the Delhi High Court. Okay, so it's not unusual in that sense. It's unusual in the sense that I can't recall three judges from Gujarat High Court being judges of the Supreme Court. Right? This is perhaps the first time, but again, I can't be sure about it. So that takes care of the regional representation. Now, you can't have a judge of every High Court appointed to the Supreme Court. That's not possible.
No,
There
but
are
Justice,
some.
you don't see the disproportionality angle because what I'm reading, and I'm reading from Telegraph, which is reported, and other newspapers also have reported, and this is what CJR has also said. And I'm going to quote that it is not clear what has swayed the Supreme Court collegium in recommending Justice Pancholi to the Supreme Court, since Justice Pancholi is not merely the third judge from Gujarat to be elevated to the Supreme Court, and in brackets, disproportionate to the size of the Gujarat High Court and leaving various other high courts unrepresented. But he's also the 57th in all India seniority list of the High Court
Yeah.
judges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the seniority about being 57 in the seniority, I was just coming to that. Now you see, so one is about the regional representation. You could say, for example, that Gujarat High Court is not as big a High Court as Bombay, so therefore Bombay High Court, if it's all right, if they have four judges. But then on the other hand, you have Allahabad High Court, which is huge. So how come we don't have a situation where you have five judges from Allahabad High Court? Okay. So I mean, I'm not sure whether you can look at it, in that.
No, but if I may ask you, Justice Lokur, what are the factors which really drive the collegium to, come to a decision that, okay, there can be five judges from a particular high court, there could be just one or two maybe from a particular high court. What are the factors that, come into play when you are deciding all this? Because what we do know is that there is an all India seniority level, which is very clearly followed in the case of the Supreme Court
Yeah,
judges.
Neelu, if you don't mind, I can just come to that seniority aspect.
Yes. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Now, the second objection seems to be about the seniority, namely he's number 57. Okay. Now, there have been instances, if I remember correctly, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, when he was appointed to the Supreme Court, he was number 33 in the All India seniority. Okay. There have been some other judges who are probably in the 30s who've been appointed. Again, if I remember correctly, Justice Rumapal was perhaps 58 in the All India seniority when she was appointed to the Supreme Court. So, these things happen. Now, why it has happened in this particular case, where Gujarat High Court has got a greater so-called proportional representation, and why a person who is number 57 in the seniority list has been in the All India seniority list has been picked up for appointment, I can't say. That is a decision that the collegium has taken. I don't even know. Nobody seems to have seen the dissent note given by Justice Nagarathna. I don't know whether she has also raised these issues or not. So one can't say. I mean, it's a decision that has been taken, and that's it. And why they have taken a decision, I can't answer that.
No, but Justice Lokur, what Justice BV Nagarathna has stated in her defense note has been widely reported. Now, I'll come to certain other portions, what she has said in her dissent note. She has also mentioned that several meritorious and more senior judges had been bypassed while recommending Justice Pancholi. Now, this is one point. I'll come to the other points later, but she's mentioned this as part of her dissent note. What would you really say? That are there instances where meritorious and very senior judges are bypassed?
Have you seen the dissent note?
I haven't seen the dissent note myself, but yes, this is widely reported everywhere.
No, it may be widely reported, but we don't know. I mean, we're just guessing. And, there are occasions in the past also, when meritorious persons have been overlooked. Okay. So, therefore, the question again is that why are meritorious persons overlooked? Okay, that's a different debate altogether. And why, in this particular case, meritorious persons have been overlooked? I don't know. I can't say. You know,
But
and
just for you were
even
asking me, yeah,
yeah,
you asked me that have you seen? Sorry, go ahead, please.
go, yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm saying that you were asking me that have you seen Justice BV Nagarathna's dissent note? Now, the very fact that she had expressed such a strong dissent note that it hasn't been published on the Supreme Court website, despite her being asking for it, and it hasn't
Uh,
been published. And CJR now has asked the Supreme Court to publish it on the website. They have demanded this. And she also has mentioned in that dissent note that Justice Pancholi's future CJI ship tenure would not be in the institution's interest. This has also come out
you know,
very, very clearly.
I don't know where you're getting all this from. You've not seen it. No, as far as I know, nobody has seen it. All right. If somebody
But
has
the
seen it,
portions,
and
yes, but portions of the dissent note have come out on
why
various.
portions? Why not the entire thing? And who has given out these portions? Neelu, we are speculating.
Okay.
There are certain facts that have actually occurred. There are certain facts which you can take for granted, namely that there is a dissent note. Okay, but what are the contents of the dissent note? We don't know.
Hmm.
And whether those contents of that dissent note were discussed in the collegium, we don't know. Maybe the other four judges, considered the dissent note and wrote their own opinion. I don't know.
No, but
So let's not
all the
get
law
into
websites as well, Justice Lokur, Live
yeah,
Law, Leaflet, and all these news websites, they have reported it widely. And in fact,
right.
yes, in fact, Indira Jaising also has raised a question that, how Justice Nagarathna's collegium dissent opens doors for many, many questions. And she has raised a number of questions. What would you really say? You were saying that you haven't seen it, but it's
Yeah,
widely.
yeah. It's widely reported. You're reporting it as well. But you
Yes.
haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. So those people who are reporting it, have they seen it? You know, my the only thing that I'm trying to say, Neelu, please don't misunderstand. The only thing I'm trying to say is that we are looking into something which is purely in the realm of speculation, right? We don't know what she has said. We don't know that if Justice Pancholi will be appointed as the Chief Justice of India, it will create a problem for the judiciary or the institution or counterproductive or whatever. I don't know. This is all speculation. The only fact is that she has given a dissent. But like I said, that dissent, whether has it been considered by the collegium, we don't know. Maybe it has, and maybe the other four judges have said no, it will not be counterproductive.
No, but then why is Campaign for Judicial Accountability demanding for all this? Why they are
Ask,
coming out
ask
with
them, ask
statements?
them, ask them, ask them why they are asking for it. They're asking for transparency. They're
Right.
not asking for. They're not asking for the dissent note for the purposes of analyzing it. They're
Hmm.
asking for it as it appears. As it appears, they're asking for it for transparency purposes. We would like to know why has she dissented.
Right, but no, but most of the newspapers, Justice Vipul, have reported it with inverted commas, saying that these are the portions. And whenever a newspaper or a media report quotes with commas and inverted commas, it means that they have got certain portions of that dissent note. So to
Why
believe
don't they
that,
publish? Why don't they publish it? If they've got it, what are they afraid of? Why don't they publish it? On the one
hmm,
hand, it is being said that Justice Nagarathna wanted it to be published, and the collegium declined to publish it. Now these people have got it; they should publish it. Honor the
so
wishes of Justice Nagarathna. Why don't they publish it?
but do you see that there is some kind of a lack of transparency on this front? Because as a
Yeah, that's
Supreme Court
okay.
judge,
Yeah, that's a different issue altogether. Transparency is an important issue, but it's a different issue. Now, okay, uh, let's go back a couple of years. Okay, now there was a time when the Supreme Court would, put everything on the website, right? This is what the Intelligence Bureau has reported, and this is what we feel. Okay, there was an objection. Why are you reporting what the Intelligence Bureau has said? There was a time when nothing was being reported. It was only being said that so and so has been recommended, all right, as appointment to the High Court. All right, Supreme Court, the question didn't arise except in one case. But for appointment to High Court judges, it was only being said that the following persons have been recommended for appointment to the High Court. Why some persons have not been recommended was never published. All right, and the reason for that was that it would damage their reputation. Why should the whole world be told that we are not recommending this person for the following reasons A, B, C, D? Okay, that was one view. Now, after that came the view that don't say anything at all. Just say that the following have been recommended. Then came the view that you give everything, IB report, this, that, and the other. Income of the person. Why should the income of that person be disclosed? That is also being mentioned. With whom was he working? That has also been disclosed. Then there's a clampdown, and now nothing is being disclosed. Only one sentence. Following has been recommended. All right. So these are issues of transparency. Now there should be openness. There is no doubt about it. You can't have an opaque system where nothing is told to anybody. But the collegium must devise some system and say that this much we will disclose, and this is the reason why we will disclose this, and this much we will not disclose, and this is the reason why we will disclose this, and have a consistent policy. You can't have a policy changing every time the Chief Justice changes. You get a new policy. It can't be. So there has to be a consistent policy. You can not only the collegium, perhaps take the entire Supreme Court, all the judges into confidence, because some of them are eventually going to become Chief Justices,
Absolutely.
right?
No,
So
you're right about the policy. You're right about the policy that it can't change with every new chief justice when he comes in. But uh, if you say that there should be a uniform policy, what could be the broad contours of that policy? That
yeah,
what are the factors you could look at, according to you?
yeah. You see the broad contours, the very very broad contours. Okay, are mentioned in the memorandum of procedure.
Okay.
Namely, the person should be for a judge of the High Court should be at least 45 years of age, and for a judge of the Supreme Court should be at least 55 years of age. Okay. Now, for a judge of the High Court, there's an income, minimum income. I don't know what the figure is. Probably 40,000 or something. I don't know. I don't remember. That is also there. Okay. So this is a very very broad sort of a thing. Now you can add to it. Okay, give details of the kind of work that you have done. You know, there was a time when the collegium felt that you must do legal aid work. Okay, fair enough. Have you done legal aid work, and what is the nature of the legal aid work that you've done? What are the kind of cases that you have been appearing in, and have they been reported in journals, recognized journals, not fly by night kind of journals? So these things can be built upon. All right. Now, once you build upon them, you keep that as the basis. You may wish to add something to it. You may wish to subtract something from it, but then do it after a conscious decision. So that everybody knows. Now, everybody knows, or at least every Chief Justice knows, that you should not recommend a person if he's below 45 years of age.
Hmm.
Right? So, nobody who's below 45 years of age will be recommended. The Chief Justice knows that the person who is being recommended, the Chief Justice of the High Court or the collegium of the High Court, knows that the person who is being recommended must have, a basic minimum income of so much. Okay, so anybody having a lesser income will not be recommended. So publish these criteria. Take into account also, when you're dealing with the High Court appointments, things like gender. All right. I mean, do you have enough women judges? Okay. Representation within the state. Now, you could have, when you talk about regional representation around the country for the Supreme Court, you have different regions and states also. Okay. So, are people coming from a particular region in a state? Are they adequately represented or not? So all these things need to be considered and need to be put into a sort of a document, so to
Sir,
speak.
even though if these things are put in a document, there is a general feeling and a perception that there are other extraneous factors also which come into play. Maybe some recommendation coming in from the center. This is what is really being perceived in the case of Justice Pancholi. But I'm going to come to the gender bit because you made a very important point, and I think we need to highlight. And I want to ask you about this now. Senior Advocate Indira Jaising, she has questioned Supreme Court's collegium's recommendation to elevate Justice Pancholi, Chief Justice, who's of the Chief Justice of the Patna High Court, asking why three women judges who are senior to him were ignored. Now, who are these three judges? She's written it on her ex post, and she has said that senior judges in line who could be potentially considered for elevation were three women judges. They are Justice Sunita Agarwal, who's the Chief Justice of the Gujarat High Court, Justice Revati Mohite Dere, who's from the Bombay High Court, and Justice Lisa Gill from Punjab and Haryana High Court. Now, these women judges have been ignored. Do you see this as not a good sign, as a very healthy sign, or a healthy indication given by the collegium?
Yeah, I think it's not good that you overlook women judges. Are they incompetent? I don't think so. Right? As you say, they might be more meritorious. Okay, it's possible. So, these are the kind of things that, transparency requires that people should know. Now, Justice Sunita Agarwal, this is not the first time that she's been overlooked. Okay, she's been overlooked earlier also. Why? So obviously these kind of things are going to raise questions. And then, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Supposing somebody turns around and says, oh, you see, Punjab Haryana High Court has already got two judges. So if we appoint Justice Lisa Gill, there'll be three. That's not correct. But then on the other hand, then you appoint a third one from Gujarat. Okay, you already have three from Bombay. And you recommend Justice Mohite Dere, and she'll be the fourth one. Why should you have four? So that's the reason why. And by the way, you began your question by saying that the policy is written down. The policy is not written down. There is no policy. There is no policy written down except, like I said,
That is something which the present Chief Justice, I guess, needs to work.
Not the present Chief Justice, the full court needs to work.
Okay.
All the judges need to work because the present Chief Justice will go in a couple of months.
No, but do you think that there is a lack of will to do it? Because there are many other factors which come into play. Now, say, for example, I'll give you there are judges against whom there have been allegations of corruption in the public domain, but they are also appointed. Now, shouldn't there be question marks on that as well, Justice Lokur?
No, sorry, against whom are allegations of corruption? And
no, I'm saying without taking names that there are judges against whom allegations of corruption are there in the public domain. But then you find them being elevated to the Supreme Court. And I'm not going to take names here, but how do these factors then come
out? I haven't heard that one at all. That some judge who is corrupt has been appointed to the Supreme Court. I haven't heard that at all. Right? So I think your question is completely hypothetical.
Okay, but regarding Justice BV Nagarathna's dissent note, you asked me that it's not been published fully. Maybe certain portions have been leaked, but also, it may not be ethical to publish the whole dissent note because she would get embarrassed. So obviously, the lawyers have laid hands on the dissent note and certain portions which need to be highlighted, which shows that certain things are going wrong, may have been published, and certain portions have come out in the public domain. So what do we do?
Okay.
Shall we dismiss it by what you're saying that we do not know? It could be misrepresented because no one has seen the dissent note.
Yeah. Well, publishing only a part of it is equally unethical, right?
Okay.
You can't say that. Listen, I'm going to publish, paragraph 2 because it suits my purpose. I will not publish paragraph 1. I will not publish paragraph 3. I will publish paragraph 4. That's equally unethical. You know. So either you don't publish anything, which is wrong, or you publish everything. Let the whole thing be open to debate.
No, but now that the things are published, how does one deal with a story like this? Shall we do a discussion? Shall we not do a discussion on BV Ratna's dissent note? Because it opens it opens a floodgate of questions.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't advise you on this, but there will be people who are willing to talk about the dissent without having seen it. I'm not one of those.
Okay.
I would like to see. I would like to see it. I don't know what it contains.
But shouldn't Supreme Court have published the dissent note as well?
Well, like I said, it's never happened in the past. I mean, this sort of a thing, as a negative portrayal has never happened in the past. Which is why I had mentioned that when High Court judges are being considered for appointment, the Supreme Court does consider 5 persons and selects 3 of them or recommends 3 of them, does not recommend 2. It does not say that we are not recommending these 2 for the following reasons. Okay. Now, in a situation like that, this of course is unprecedented.
Okay.
I cannot remember any occasion when a dissent note has been given by one of the judges in the collegium. I cannot remember that.
So you are saying, and I'm going to repeat it again because it's an important point which you said, that a dissent note in the collegium regarding the elevation of a judge is something which is unprecedented and you've not heard about it.
Yeah, I've not heard about it.
So how should one, if I'm totally going by what you're saying, if this is an unprecedented situation, how should the Supreme Court collegium now handle a situation like this?
Yeah, I think they will have to sit down and discuss it. From what you say, that Justice Nagarathna did say that publish my dissent note, and the collegium said no, we're not going to publish it. So if that is correct, then there has been a discussion. All right. Now, what was the reason? Why did the other 4 judges say that no, we're not going to publish it? We don't know. Okay. So I think now that this has happened, okay, I think the Supreme Court needs to take a call and take a decision. A full court should take a decision on what should be done in a situation like this. There might be other unprecedented situations. For example, under the memorandum of procedure, if 2 judges disagree, then the recommendation is not made. Now, supposing the Chief Justice decides, or supposing the other 3 judges, the Chief Justice and the other 2 judges decide, that doesn't matter. We'll send a 3-2 recommendation. How are you going to deal with that situation? So these are things. A situation has arisen. I think they must sit down and decide what is to be done. I mean, it can't go on like this. Then there's a room for speculation. There is room for discussion.
Yes.
Based on speculation. I mean that's damaging for the institution. That's
And this
damaging
is
for the system.
the leaked portion or whatever portion of Justice Nagarathna's dissent note, which has come out is it also talks about damaging the credibility of the collegium. My last question to you, Justice Lokur, is that do you think that this unprecedented situation now which has evolved regarding this the elevation of Justice Pancholi, uh, has it really undermined or does it really undermine the credibility of the collegium, the present
No,
collegiums?
I don't think so. I don't think so because, like I said, the memorandum of procedure postulates a 4-1 recommendation, right? It says it's perfectly all right if a 4-1 recommendation is made. So it's not as if it damages the credibility or otherwise because it's there in the memorandum of association. The only thing is that it has not happened before. I mean, as far as
No,
I know, it has not happened before.
but shouldn't the Supreme Court collegium should counter those dissents by coming out with certain explanations that look, it matters. It all involves the credibility of that particular judge as well. So shouldn't they be putting up account?
No, no,
No,
it doesn't have any impact on the credibility of the judge. Not at all.
no, I'm talking about the credibility of the collegium because the kind of perception which is made out.
No, that's precisely what I said. No, the memorandum of procedure postulates a situation like this.
Hmm.
Okay, the fact is, I mean, as far as I know, the fact is that even though it postulates a situation like this, it has never occurred. All right. Now, maybe the at that point of time they should have thought about what if this happens. Okay, but it wasn't thought of at that point of time. But now it has happened. So now there has to be a discussion on this. Now this situation has occurred. How do we deal with it? For the present and for the future.
Right.
And for the future, you may have a 3-2 situation also.
Okay, so before I wind up, you were asking me that you are not aware of any judge which has allegations of corruption and you wouldn't want to get into that. But if you look at the Caravan article, now there is a Caravan has published an article which carries Justice Goel's letter, and that is with reference to Justice Surikant, who is already a Supreme Court judge. So, would you like to say something on what has been published already by Justice Goel? There's a letter which says that there are allegations of corruption.
I frankly have not seen that letter.
All
I have
right.
not seen that article. When was it published?
I think it was published long time back, but it is there, and people do quote that letter, which has been written by Justice Goel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think as far as I remember, I was in the Supreme Court at that point of time, and there was a letter uh, written by Justice Goel, making allegations against Justice Suryakant. But I don't remember reading that letter. You but yes, there was a letter. Perhaps that's the letter which has been published by Caravan.
Right. And
Yeah.
he's a senior most judge, and he is about to become the next CJI. So a whole lot of question marks are there. So what would you
Yeah.
would like to say before I
I
wind
think
up?
if I remember correctly, this letter was written at the time when Justice Suryakant was being considered for appointment as Chief Justice of a High Court.
Hmm.
Right? That's what I remember. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this was
And
30th January 2019. That was the date of the letter which was written.
yeah, whenever, I don't know. And again, if I remember correctly, uh, some sort of an inquiry was conducted. Not an inquiry, but try and find out whether this is correct. Kind of thing. But beyond that, I don't know, and I don't know the contents of that letter. And as far as I'm aware, some sort of a discussion took place, or some sort of a report was called for from somebody else, from some other judge, and that's how the matter stood. And he was appointed as Chief Justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Justice Lokur, for joining on the Federal. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.